Okay, it is day 3 of the partial government shutdown, and talks to fund the Department of Homeland Security, well, they're not going anywhere because no one is in town. Democrats are also dug in over their demands for immigration and customs enforcement. White House border czar Tom Homan says federal agents, they're still out there and they're still doing their jobs.
ICE has continued to enforce law across the country. They're already funded. Now, the ICE officers won't be getting paid, but they're getting used to that, it seems like. So, no, the immigration mission, the reason why President Trump was elected to be president, continues. As far as the mask, look, I don't like the masks either, but because threats against ICE officers, are up over 1,500%. Actual assaults and threats are up over 8,000%. These men and women have to protect themselves.
A ban on masks is just one of those 10 Democratic demands. Others include requiring visible IDs, like ICE officers having to show and prove who they are, no enforcement happening at hospitals or schools, and requiring body cameras. Republicans say this is all just performative.
Let me just say this to every single Democrat standing in the way of funding DHS. Shame on you. You're making our homeland, the United States of America, less secure because you're trying to make a political point.
They have no real agenda other than to disrupt President Trump's agenda.
This isn't about actually opening DHS back. This is about waiting until the president is done giving the State of the Union, which is a week from Tuesday, which is why I said this is nothing but political theater.
And here's top House Democrat Hakeem Jeffries not offering much when asked about the State of the Union.
If DHS is shut down on February 24th, do you think that Trump should postpone his State of the Union?
That's an open question. We'll have more to say about that next week.
We don't know what that means. Ari Fleischer, White House press secretary under George W. Bush, also a Fox News contributor, joining me now. Ari, the Republicans are saying Democrats are going to keep this shut down at least through the State of the Union because the base wants them to fight. This is their chance to take on President Trump. You know politics. Is that what's going on here?
That's exactly what's going on here. This is the phoniest of phony shutdowns there's ever been. ICE is already funded. More than 90% of those who work for the Department of Homeland Security are essential. It is the most essential department when it comes to a shutdown. Virtually everybody is going to have to continue what they're doing. The only difference is they won't pay them. So they're going to take out their anger on President Trump against all the families of people who work for the Department of Homeland Security, be it the Coast Guard, be it FEMA, be it TSA. Next time you go through an airport, just say thank you to those people who are now working without a salary so the Democrats can engage in a phony shutdown targeted at ICE, but ICE's mission will go on. It's a phony shutdown.
Well, you're right. ICE's mission will go on because they are still funded through the big, beautiful bill, which is something that Democrats don't want to talk about in this fight as they hold hostage FEMA and some other really important programs. Some of the demands we went over just now, including judicial warrants to be able to target a home, go inside of a home, unmasking ICE agents. These are things that Republicans are not willing to negotiate on. That's the stuff that we're seeing on paper. But there is still a whole flank of the Democratic Party that is calling to defund ICE. They want ICE gone altogether. They don't want reforms. They just want the agency completely disbanded. It's hard to tell what this party, how it feels about immigration enforcement anymore. We don't know where they're at.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's easy to know where they are. They're against immigration enforcement. That's exactly why in the Biden years they looked the other way as millions of people entered America illegally, and they were content with it. They called them all asylum seekers and said they should be in America. Look, if ICE were run by bunnies and Bambi, the Democrats would still say ICE is cruel. Because they don't oppose the people who run ICE per se, they oppose ICE's mission. They oppose those who would enforce America's laws and make sure that if you come to America, you have to come here legally. You have to come here with a sponsor. You have to have the financial means to support yourself. You can't go on welfare. That's what everybody who waits online to come to America. But then there's this whole other cadre of millions of people that the Democrats want to come in illegally because it bumps up their numbers in the census, it bumps up the number of dollars that the federal government spends largely in urban districts, and it bumps up the number of representatives they have in Congress because the census counts those who are here illegally. That is the end game for the politicians in Washington who are Democrats. So it has nothing to do with ICE being cruel or any of that. They oppose ICE's mission.
Yeah, what I'm saying is it's just hard to tell what the Democratic Party is today, because this is the same party. Not too long ago, Barack Obama was also deporting illegal immigrants, but now that's not okay. Yeah. We've been hearing it from Democrats for months now, Ari. Yesterday, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer with more heated rhetoric for those federal agents. Listen to this.
This is a rogue force. They're almost trained, it looks like, to be nasty and mean and cruel and go way beyond what ordinary police departments do. So they need to be reined in. The question that Americans are asking is, why aren't Republicans going along with these common sense proposals?
Critics are now calling out Minnesota Governor Tim Walz for the demand that he's making as the federal drawdown in Minneapolis continues. Listen to this.
The federal government needs to pay for what they broke here. There are going to be accountability on the things that happen. The federal government needs to be responsible. You don't get to break things and then just leave without doing something about it.
Border czar Tom Homan, on the other hand, offered some praise for Minnesota leaders who are working with him now, including the governor and the mayor. Homan says the state is actually safer because they're all working together.
They were a sanctuary state. Their county jails weren't working with us across the state. So you know what? We fixed it. They ought to be saying thank you.
But Ari, it's not politically expedient by November if this is all fixed in Minneapolis and everybody's working together.
Well, first of all, for this notion that the federal government needs to pay for what's happened in Minneapolis, says the man who called the people into the streets to obstruct ICE's mission. He called Minnesota citizens into the streets. So did the mayor of Minneapolis. So this is like the arsonist calling on the fire department to pay for the fire that the arsonist set. None of this would have happened had it not been for the desire of the leadership of Minnesota to confront ICE. So they're stuck with the bill, and that's the way it should be. The federal government won't pay it. But again, it gets to the core issue. Democrats want people to come here illegally. They need it politically. They need it structurally. They need it to build their base. Without it, the demographics of America are going to show people continue to leave blue states, go to red states, and the Democrats know that. The antidote is illegal immigration. Legal immigration is wonderful. It makes us a better nation, a stronger people, a richer country, a deeper country. Come here legally. You'll be welcome to America. Don't come here illegally, especially on Donald Trump's watch.
Okay, well, the fight's not over yet. I feel like we're going to get many more chapters to come all the way to November. Ari, great to have you.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.